I cannot read Assyrian. I was born in the old country, but I want to get over it.
Why? Why do you want to get over it?
Well, simply because everything is washed up over there. We were great people once, but that was yesterday, the day before yesterday. Now we are a topic in ancient history. We had a great civilization. They are still admiring it. Now I'm an American learning how to cut hair. We are washed up as a race. We are through. It's all over. Why should I learn to read the language? We have no fucking writers. We have no fucking news.
These remarks, like fucking, were very painful to me in Armenia. I had always felt badly about my own people suffering. I had never heard an Assyrian speaking in English about such things. I felt great love for this young fellow. Don't get me wrong. There is a tendency these days to think in terms of pansies whenever a man says that he is affection for man. I think now that I have affection for all people, even for the enemies of Armenia, whom I so tactfully not named, everyone knows who they are. I have nothing against any of them because I think of them as one man living one life at a time, and I know, I'm positive that one man at a time is incapable for the monstrosities performed by mobs. My objection is to mobs only.
Incapable, no, incapable.
Incapable.
Incapable,
Oh,
yeah.
yo.
And also, I don't like pansies. I don't. Your director, he takes out lots of words like, you know, Mohammedans and people being killed. I don't like this word. It's very, very unfriendly. It's a very unfriendly word. It's a very bad word for homosexuals. So I think it would be better to say maybe there's a tendency these days to think in terms of homosexuality, for example.
There is a tendency these days to think in terms of pansies whenever a man says that.
I think if you want to do this play to an audience in Britain, for example, I think they will not like this word.
Okay.
I think it'd be better to say in terms, I think the people, yeah, it'd be better to say in terms of homosexuality.
Okay. Nein. Ste grața himasın tendenți care scanie moreri meci. Comicele în capață. Diferite nas moreri bun havane. Okay, but still can we comic la bunch. Asmen galet. Okay. These remarks, like fucking, were very painful to me in Armenia. I had always felt badly about my own people suffering. I had never heard an Assyrian speaking in English about such things. I felt great love for this young fellow. Don't get it wrong. There is a tendency these days to think in terms of homosexuality. Homosexuality whenever a man says that he has affection for another man. I think now that I have affection for all people, even for the enemies of Armenia whom I have so tactfully not named. Everyone knows who they are. I have nothing against any of them because I think of them as one man living one life at a time. And I know, I'm positive that one man at a time is incapable for the monstrosities performed by mobs. My objection is to mobs only. Well, it is much the same with us. We too are old. We still have our charge. We still have a few writers. Aharonyan, Isaacan, and a few others. But it is much the same, you know.
Yeah, I know. We went in for wrong things. We went in for the simple things like peace and quiet and families. We didn't go in for machinery and conquest and militarism. We didn't go in for diplomacy and deceit and the invention of machine guns and poison gases. Well, there is no use in being disappointed. We had our day, I suppose.
We are hopeful. There is no Armenian living who does not still dream of living in peace.
Dream? Well, there is something. Assyrians cannot even dream anymore. Why, do you know how many of us are left on Earth?
2 or 3 million.
70,000. That is all. 70,000 Assyrians in the world. They killed 70 of us in a little uprising last month. There was a small paragraph in the paper. 70 more of us destroyed. We'll be whipped out before long.
Wiped.
We'll be wiped out before long. My brother is married to an American girl and he has a son. Well, there is no more hope. We are trying to forget Assyria. My father still reads a paper that came from New York. But he's an old man. He will be dead soon.
Then his voice changed. He ceased speaking as an Assyrian and began to speak as the Bible.
Have I taken enough off the top?
Yeah. Okay. The rest of this story is pointless. I said so long to the young Assyrian and left the shop. I walked across town 4 miles to my room on Carl Street. I thought about the war business. Assyria and his Assyrian theater. Learning to be above the sadness of his voice, the hopelessness of his attitude. This was months ago, in August. But ever since I have been thinking about Assyria, and I have been wanting to say something about that, about a son of an ancient race, himself youthful and ardent, yet hopeless. 70,000 Assyrians, 70,000 of the great people, and all the others quiet in death, and all the greatness crumbled and ignored, and a young man in America learning to be a barber, and a young man lamenting bitterly the curse of history. Why don't I make up plots and write beautiful love stories that can be made into motion pictures? Why don't I let these unimportant and boring matters go hang? Why don't I try to please the American reading public? Well, I'm an Armenian. Michael Allen is an Armenian too. He's pleasing the public. I have great admiration for him, and I think he has perfected a very fine style of writing and all that. But I don't want to write about the people he likes to write about. Those people were dead to begin with. You take Arabs and Japanese boy and set a bottom their Syria. Well, they may go down physically like I was to death, or spiritually like Badal to death, but they are of the style that is eternal in man, and it is this style that interests me. You don't find them in bright places, making witty remarks about sex and trivial remarks about art. You find them where I found them, and they will be there forever. The race of men, the part of men of Assyria as much as of England, that cannot be destroyed. The part that massacre does not destroy. The part that earthquake and war and famine and madness and everything else cannot destroy. This work is tribute to Ireland, to Japan, to Assyria, to Armenia, to the race of men everywhere, to the dignity of that race, the brotherhood of things alive. I'm not expecting Paramount Pictures to fill this book. I'm not thinking of 70,000 Assyrians one at a time, alive, a great race. I'm thinking of David Barton himself, 70,000 Assyrians and 70 million Assyrians himself, Assyria, and man standing in barber shop in San Francisco in 1933 and being still himself, the whole race.
The whole race. Yeah, that was nice. It was cool. Which parts are difficult?
Not difficult, but when I'm reading, I understand that I'm reading not good.
Okay. I think it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. There's a couple of places where you perhaps try to go a little bit too fast, but generally I think you've got quite a good idea of the text. So for me, I think the first paragraph here should be quite factual.
What means factual?
Factual is like when you read the news. It's not very emotional, it's just straight, because it's just information. But yeah, after this line, we need a haircut, definitely a pause, because it's quite a funny line, but that would be quite factual. And then, when he's talking about, the baby is a baby, then it's quite, maybe philosophical, so it's lots of contrast, so this, and so on, that's quite nice. Then, maybe I kind of get the feeling later, this section here, as he says, these remarks were very painful to me. So he kind of deeper and sadder.
Yeah.
You could do perhaps a little bit sadly there. And then the summary at the end. Yes, I think the summary at the end, you do this quite nicely. This sounds good. This sounds nice.
Maybe we'll try it again.
Yeah, where is everybody else though? Where's Japanese boy? No, okay, fine.
Let's read our part only.
I want to try.
Okay, try.
I hadn't had a haircut in 40 days and 40 nights, and I was beginning to look like several violinists out of work. We, barbarians from Asia Minor, are hairy people. When we need a haircut, we need a haircut. It was so bad, I had outgrown my only head. 3rd Street, below Howard, is a district. Think of the Bowery in New York, Main Street in Los Angeles. Think of old men and boys out of work, hanging around, smoking Bulldara, talking about the government, waiting for something to turn up, simply waiting. I had 20 cents and a half pack of Bulldara. I rolled a cigarette, handed a pack to some of my contemporaries who looked at it in need of nicotine. My contemporaries were boys of 16. They looked Iowas, splendid, potentially solid Americans, but down, greatly down in the mouth. A little sleep, no change of clothes for several days, a little fear. I wanted very much to know his name. A writer is always wanting to get the reality of faces and figures.
We just going from Salinas, no work in the lettuce fields, going north now to Portland to try shit out.
Okay. Good luck, North.
We know better. Give it a try anyway, nothing to lose.
Fine booze. Hope they aren't dead. Hope they haven't frozen. Mighty cold these days. Hope they haven't come down. They deserve to leave. Iowas. I hope you got work in Portland. I hope you are earning money. I hope you have rented a clean room with a warm bed in it. I hope you are sleeping at night, eating regularly, walking along like a human being, being happy. Iowas, my good wishes are with you. I have said a number of prayers for you. Genki desu ka?
Arigato. Very well. Do you speak Japanese? Are you from Japan? How are you? Do you speak Japanese? Have you lived in Japan?
Oh no, unfortunately no. I'm able to speak only 1 or 2 words. I used to know Yoshinomoto, Hideo Suzuki, Katsumi Sujimoto. Do you know them?
Nomoto, Suzuki, Sujimoto. Suzuki is a small man?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him. He lives in San Jose now. He's married now.
Oh, really?
Yes. He has a son.
What is his name?
Boris. Oh, that's a nice name.
He's Japanese.
Yeah, but he's a Rastafari.
Oh, maybe.
His wife is from Iran. Mother from Turkmenistan.
I do not believe in racism.
Cousin from Australia.
Yes.
I do not believe in racism. I do not believe in government. I see life as one life at one time. So many millions simultaneously all over the earth. Babies who have not yet been taught to speak any language are the only race of the earth, the race of man. All the rest in pretense, what we call civilization, hatred, fear, desire for strength. But a baby is a baby, and the way they cry, there you have the brotherhood of man. Babies crying. We grow up and we learn the words of language, and we see the universe through the language we know. We do not see it through all language, or through no language at all, through silence, for example. And we isolate ourselves in the language we know. Over here we isolate ourselves in English, or American as mankind calls it. Oh, the eternal things in our worlds. If I want to do anything, I want to speak a more universal language. The heart of man, the unwritten part of man, which is eternal and common to all races. that name. Are you an Armenian?
I'm an Assyrian.
Well, it was something. They, the Syrians, came from all around the world. They had noses like our noses, eyes like our eyes, hearts like our hearts. They had a different language. When they spoke, we could not understand them, but they were a lot like us. It wasn't quite as pleasing as it would have been if Bible had been in Armenian, but it was something. I am an Armenian. I used to know some Syrian boys in my hometown. Joseph Sarkis, Tony Southern. Do you know any of them?
Yeah, Joseph Sarkis, I know him. The others I don't know. We lived in New York until 5 years ago, then we came out west to Turlock. Then we moved up to San Francisco.
Nito Eddie. He is a captain in the Salvation Army. Tony Southern was killed 8 years ago. He was riding on a horse and he was thrown and the horse began to run. Tony couldn't get himself free. He was caught by a leg and the horse ran around and ran for half an hour and then stopped. And when they went up to Tony, he was dead. You know, he was 14 at the time. I used to go to school with him. Tony was a very clever boy, very good at arithmetic.
I cannot read Assyrian. I was born in the old country, but I want to get over it.
Why? Why do you want to get over it?
Well, simply because everything is washed up over there. We were great people once, but that was yesterday, the day before yesterday. Now we're a topic in ancient history. We're a great civilization. They are still admiring it. And now I'm in America and learning how to cut hair. We're washed up as a race. We're through. It's all over. Why should I learn to read the language? We have no news. We have no writers.